Hello and welcome back. Today we have the Transformers the Movie Studio Series Ultra Magnus from Hasbro. This is part of Hasbro's Studio Series line of figures, which are figures decoed and moulded, etc., to represent their appearance in one of the respective films. In this case, it's Ultra Magnus as he appeared in that 1986 animated movie. I believe this is a re-release, but I missed the original release of this figure and was quick to snap him up when I saw that the re-release was coming. So I'm really excited to get this opened and take a look at him. I also happen to have the War for Cybertron Ultra Magnus, which I think is a very similar mold to this. I thought we'd take a look at the differences between the two of those as well, and maybe for fun the Ultra Magnus which came with the recent Omega Prime HasLab, but that's later on. Anyway, here we have Ultra Magnus in the Studio Series box. As this is a Commander class figure, he is no longer in those window box packaging. Instead you get a larger box with some nice artwork on the front. I've always really liked the artwork over the window box releases. I know I'm in a minority there, but there's something kind of special about these sort of artwork releases, very reminiscent of, toys as they came in sort of the 80s and 90s, especially those larger figures and vehicles and things. So I'm always happy to see packaging like this. But I know it does have its detractors, especially in modern day scenarios. But anyway, here we have Ultra Magnus defending Autobot City. We get some nice artwork of the city in the background with the explosions going on and Magnus in the foreground. You can see the blast effect coming from his rifle. We have Transformers the Movie in that 86 Deco Studio Series Ultra Magnus Autobot symbol 86. Transformers down the side, marked as a Generations figure. Top has that movie logo and the shuttle. On the side we get that Ultra Magnus silhouette. On the back is some Lego at the bottom, which is accompanied by more Lego on the barcode on the bottom, and then the back also has product shots of our figure in robot and alt mode. Because this is one of the older Studio Series figures, it actually comes with a backdrop, big screen inspired detail and backdrop. Battle of Autobot City. Ultra Magnus needs defensive measures against the Decepticons invading Autobot City, so we have a brief bio down there and quick shot of some of the play features within this figure. And then finally on the other side is that Studio Series logo, confirmation that it's a Commander class, and a close-up of Magnus's face. So let's get this figure opened and take a look at him. So first up you have that display. So let's get this out of the way. There we have Magnus all packaged up. There is our display base, which is the Battle of Autobot City. You can see the shuttles there and the blast effects. That's a nice backdrop. So we can put that to one side. Then we have Magnus here. We had instructions. Where did they go? Oh. There's our instructions. Magnus is bound with those plastic cable ties I despise. Let's get him cut out and freed. And then his leg. And still got another one there. There we go. So that is Magnus free from the packaging, and there's also some additional straps and supports here so it doesn't get damaged in its packaging. So we get some ratchet joints right off the bat, which is nice. This is feeling like a nice solid figure already. So there's Magnus, and then our accessories are packaged in tissue paper with apparently enough tape. You know what, my 13-year-old uses less tape when wrapping presents, and he's ridiculous. This entire thing is literally covered in tape. There is not a piece of tissue paper that hasn't been wrapped in tape. That is that's some interesting packaging. Okay, opening it up, we've got some blast effects pieces. We get, there's a lot of small little bits in here as well. So we get guns. We get, okay, let's take a look, see here. I think that's everything. So let's just put this down the bed. And so let's see what we've got. We've got 2 blasters, some cannons maybe. I guess we'll see those in a minute. We get our blast effects pieces, which can assemble together. This is quite a nice one actually. There's some really nice smoke effect details throughout on it rather than being a standard solid colour. And we also get the antennas for Magnus's head and these bits for his body as well. So let's take a look and see. The weapons are done in a white plastic with a silver paint app across, which is really, really nice. It's even a hollow clear tip, and the blast effects pieces will be able to fit on if you so desire. Assembling Magnus, we need to place his antennas either side, so down here, and you just plug into either side. I've never had to do this for a Magnus figure before, so that's quite interesting. Presumably so it didn't get damaged in transit or lost. There we have Magnus, who has some really nice light piping, but we'll take a look at that in a minute. We have our effects pieces, so we should have 3 tips, which we do, 2 medium parts and 2 of the larger blaster areas. Then what I see, these plug together and go onto Magnus's shoulders like so. And there we have Magnus assembled out of the box. And let's take a look at him now, shall we? So I don't know how well it's showing up on camera, but he has some really amazing light piping out of the eyes. You can see the back of the head is quite a clear piece, and depending where it is, the light really picks up on that light piping, which looks really nice and gives him some life actually. We have our head sculpt, which is a really nice likeness of Magnus with some nice moulded detail throughout. Coming down, you have the rest of the body in that blue, red and white colour scheme, which he is infamous for. Big bulky body with various moulded detail throughout. So far he's looking really nice. I like the look of him. I love this chest piece with the clear plastic looking in at the matrix. So he has a matrix as well, which is a nice touch. As for articulation, the head can move back, presumably for transformation, but it is on a ball joint, so you can get some nice range of movement there. The arms are on ratchet joints, and they are nice tight ratchet joints. They can move up, so if you want to unclip him, you can. There is a bicep swivel articulation at the elbow, which is a ratchet as well. You can feel that. The fingers are individually articulated at the forefinger and then the 3 here. Or sorry, the index finger. Thumb isn't articulated, but the wrist is swivel. It's on a swivel. Same this side. There is a waist rotation, which is really tight. Nice fitting. Legs come forward that far, back that far. The skirt's completely movable, so this won't hinder movement at all. You can hear those ratchet joints on the legs, which is a nice touch. So we can get a nice range of movement there. Bend at the knees. Sort of swivel at the calves. They're on a mushroom peg, so the swivel is as much as the mould will allow. Then there is a slight tilt at the feet, so we can get some nice posability out of him, ready for action. As for the matrix, the chest will open up. How does this open up? So they come out the side. Matrix opens like that, and then the chest is on springs. So we can then get our matrix out. And we can get a look at our matrix. That's standard matrix of leadership we've seen with a lot of 86 figures now. Some nice metallic blue and silver in the chest for some older details, which is really nice. Can, in theory, okay, so you can leave the sides closed and lift up and they will still open, and then the matrix will just plug back in like so. So we can get some nice storage there. Again, that light piping, I can't get over that light piping. When the light hits it, it's gorgeous. It's almost a crystalline effect rather than your standard. It's a light aqua blue, so it really does pop and stand out. Effects pieces, bar the weapons. There doesn't appear to be any immediate places on the body for them to come off as sort of explosions or battle damage. I just want to point out the back has some nice paint apps as well, with the silver and the red there. So he can get a hold on his weapons like so, and they will take the FX pieces if you want, like so. And again, same this side, so he can hold on to his weapons. Now, the box showed him holding this double-handed. I don't think we're necessarily going to be able to... so this will unhinge here if you want. You can move the arm out. It does look odd, but with some moving and posability, you can actually get him holding that double-handed there. So that's some nice touch, actually. That I like. There's some nice posability with it. There is a lot of posability with this figure. It's fantastic. So that does look a little odd, but it does mean that you can get some additional posing out of him if you want. Moving him to one side for a second, let's bring in our War for Cybertron Magnus. So this one was the mystery box thing they did with a couple of other bits and pieces. You can see immediately the size difference. I think this was a Voyager class, I might be wrong. There, you can see the size difference on him. This is obviously a little more realistic looking, shall we say, due to the design of the figure. This one's certainly closer to how he appeared in that film and the classic Generation 1 style. Also, you can see here a lot of the cab is built into the back of this figure, so you've got it sticking out, where actually there is no real backpack beyond sort of the standard body here. Nothing really stands out, so there's some really nicely done designs on this. And then finally, for comparison, we also have our one Mega Prime Ultra Magnus. You can see the size difference again there. Immediately, to me, this one stands out. It's far more striking, more detail, articulation, and it just commands more presence than that War for Cybertron one did. Not that I ever thought the War for Cybertron one was necessarily a bad figure. It's just this one definitely pops and stands out a lot more than the others have. I feel it's a little unfair to compare it to the HasLab. I just wanted to show it for size comparisons. But there we have Ultra Magnus. So let's get down to transformation, shall we? So let's bring this up a bit. So there we have him. So stay. So the instructions do confirm that there is some storage on the back for the weapons, and these have some pegs on them, so they can just peg into these slots at the back here, which gives some nice looks. If you want to, you can actually take out the, I guess, missiles and fit in the FX pieces there. If you really want, you can even do that, so it looks like it's actually firing the missile. I'm not actually sure if they're supposed to be missiles or not. I don't think it's ever been, unless I've missed something. Somebody confirm that for me. But there we have a couple of our play features and storage if you want. I like how they've done the storage on this. It's a little more discreet than the big circular peg holes. As for transformation, we bring our arms, let's get them standing up straight. I'm assuming it's for transformation, but the arms can peg away from the shoulder blade, so if you want it to move back a little further than you would normally, you can do. Okay. There we go. Okay, so stage one is to flip and open our arms. Oh no. Okay, so you need these facing towards the back, and then the doors should That's it. Then they open inwards, like so. Then turning them back around, these fold out, supposedly. Why isn't this? Okay, that's it. So they've hinged out and then down. Again, out and down. And they close back up. Now, I'm going to be honest here and say that I've not seen this figure before. I don't know anything about the transformation or anything like that. The one thing that's always annoyed me with the Magnuses, or the War for Cybertron Magnus, is the fact that he's almost a parts former, and that his body and trailer are two separate pieces, which is something I've never been a big fan of, because I've always felt that Magnus is, his trailer and him are literally just part of one and the same unit. So I'm kind of curious to see how the transformation for this figure works. Then we can unclip our shoulder pads, or shoulder blades, whatever you want to say. Head tilts back, and the what will lift up? Do we need to unhip those? Oh, okay. There we go. So that lifts up and there we go, lifts up over his head. Arms unclip and come out like so. Then turning him around, this plate here lifts up like so, and this comes back. So, oh, I see. So there's two pegs here which plug in like that. Should plug in. Okay, yeah, they do, but you've got to lift up the cab piece. It's on a double hinge, and that's all fallen off. I presume. There we go. Presuming that's intended, we'll see. But lifting that up like that, that plugs in like so. Then we have these which flip up, and cab backs flip out, and the back lifts up. This really wants to keep on plugging, and I can't work out if that's intended or not. So that lifts back. And then turning this around, keeping them that way, what folds out? Something else is folding out. So that should be like that. Okay, then that will fold down like so, and the cab window will open like that, and this lifts up like so, and you can then pop out the wheels like so, and that will flip right round until it clicks in like that. Cab sides come up, and again on double hinges, and you just want to lift those up and line them with the back of the cab like so. Okay, and then this will come up. And down. No. Okay, so one bit I missed there is the top of the cab also needs to be lined up, so just line back up. There it is. That's it. Then these sides will line up and supposedly peg into here and here. Come on. They're a very tight fit. A snug fit. And once they're in, they are in. And there we go. That's it. That's better. That's now done. That's it. Okay. Our wheels will fold out at the side. And lying him flat, the legs will open legs will fold down like so. And then they clasp together. Like that. Then this folds up and so. Push down that back piece there and then rotate this cab piece around, and then this folds over like so, and then bending really down like that. That's really annoying me. I think it's so that the cab can be undone and removed as a play feature, but at the moment it's looser than I would actually like it to be. We'll see how that goes. Legs come down, knees here. And then I think body's supposed to. No. that's down like that. Then okay, I'm going to take that bit off until I can figure this bit out. So then the no. This bloke is supposed to go out. Definitely bend there. There. Like that? That can't be right, right? And then these come down. That is more appropriate, but I'm still not convinced. Yeah, because they need to clip into these holes here. I'm still convinced that's right. I think I've missed a step. That's it. Okay. Okay. So. Okay, so there is an additional hinge under here, which is the one which is supposed to fold down like that. Then we go like that, which makes sense. So this side. Same that side. There we go. That's better. And then that clips in like so. There. That is so much better. That makes sense now. To be honest, the instructions weren't clear on that bit. You could have done with a close-up image of that bending under. Put this back on. Okay, now the arms at the hinge. The arms at this hinge here rotate up, over, and then something's clipping into place, but I can't see what. On the sides of the arms, there's these hinges here, and they just need to line up with the arms and plug in. If you can get them to plug in. That's it. There we go. One. And the same this side. There we go. That's better. They're done. Then these fold these rotate around like so. Those arm pegs could be stronger. There we go. Like that. And there is a turn this around, and with this arm there is, oh I see, the missile, taking off the missiles, there is these lifts here which come around and lock over. You can hear those clicking away quite nicely, like so. Then there is some clips on the back here which come up and slide along. And then the entire arm section folds up and plugs into the side of those pegs. Same this side, like so. Once up. Then the sides will plug in together, and the same with the back here. That's it. 1, 2. There we go. Then these back pieces will come out and fold around and plug in. Same here, fold out, lift up, plug in the wheels. Let's see how they're supposed to drop. Those are definitely supposed to drop down, but these are on double hinges and they're just a bit of an awkward pain to, there you go, you just got to sort of line them up a bit. Then making sure everything's still nice and tightly fitted together. On there, turning it over, Magnus's head will plug into something. Literally just these clips here will plug into this base. It's just a case of making sure he's nice and straight and then pushing down until they're locked in. And there we have Ultra Magnus in his robot mode. Alt mode even, and then they plug onto the sides like so. There we go. There is Ultra Magnus in his alt mode. It's not bad. It's definitely a resemblance of the character as he appeared in that '86 movie. I don't know if it's just mine or not, but I'm not too keen on how loose fitting this is. I can see it's there to allow for the trailer to be disconnected and just have the truck if you want. However, it keeps coming undone on mine. So you can have it nicely locked in, or you can have it looser so you can roll the truck around. The truck does roll very nicely once everything's done. I'm finding these bits aren't necessarily wanting to plug in as tightly as they need to, and part of me feels this looks a little weird here, but it is what it is. One of the play features for Ultra Magnus is his trailer. So if you saw the video on Mega Prime, you know he'll carry leader class, and again here Magnus can transport a couple of different cars if you want. Comes in about that. I'm not sure if you're going to maybe at a push get 2 in, but I'm not 100% certain. It'll definitely take 1, but I think you'd be able to push to get both 2 in. So we have that as a play feature if you want. There he is. There is Magnus. What I can do is bring in the War for Cybertron version just so we can get a comparison. And here we have the two Magnuses together. So this is the War for Cybertron version. And as you can see here, he's essentially 2 separate parts which completely come together, disassemble and then fit on, which I was never a big fan of. It just seemed too much like a part former for me, and I'm not a big fan of part formers. I feel that, you know, with a transformer, their entire structure is part of their body, and as such would be transforming with them, but that's just a personal opinion. But you can see the size difference here. You can see the detailing on this is very, very different. But overall, I definitely prefer this Magnus. I feel the transformations smoother, bar this constantly coming apart. Transforming him back is a simple case of just reversing what we've already done. So I come up, I come down, I come up, come out, and they need to push back and down, back and down. So there's our legs, and then they bend down as well. Have I done that? No. There. I bend it down on that leg. Ooh. That's the only bit I really struggle with. It's a tough joint. There's our body, our monkey arms. I like the way everything just sort of collapses in on itself on this part of the transformation. It's really quite satisfying. And then these bits should just snap down accordingly. So that's his headpiece. I'm the wrong way on that, that's why. Helps if I fold in the legs as well. And I do. Are they folding here? Oh, I don't remember folding those bits out, so I will affect that. Okay. Oh. Oh. That's it. There we go. Helps if I fold those in. That's it. There we go. There we go. I fit in. This comes over and fits on the back here. That comes back around. It comes down. And these fold back in on themselves. Yeah, folding in on yourself. Oh, I feel like I've missed this. Okay. Right. And then finally it's just a case of undoing the arms, lifting them back up, folding them over, and rotate the wrist if you need to. That bends. And same this side. So there's a nice simple transformation either way without, and while there's plenty of steps to do, it never feels overly complicated or confusing once you know exactly where you're stepping. But there we have Mangus back in his part. And I'm really happy with this. I really like this figure. I think it's been really well done. There's some fun play features to him. It's a great resemblance to how he appeared in that 86 movie. He has all of the articulation you would expect. Paint apps are nice and clean. I love the little pop-out chest piece. I think that's a really fun feature. So overall, I can highly recommend this, and I feel this is definitely a huge step up over the previous War for Cybertron figure. As I said, I don't feel it's fair comparing this to the HasLab version. I only wanted to quickly show it for size comparisons, but there we have Ultra Magnus, and I am really happy with him. I'm so glad to add him to the collection. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Until next time, stay safe, and remember, freedom is the right of all sentient beings.